In the west, where the land ends suddenly and the Atlantic swallows the light, the Irish have pointed to the horizon for centuries and said, Tir na Nug, the land of everlasting youth. It was neither a realm of the dead nor a paradise promised after death. It was something else, a place beyond time. In old beliefs it was said that the other world is not always far away. Sometimes it is separated from people only by a layer of mist or a grassy mound of stone. They also said that the road to Tir na Nug runs westward, over the sea, towards islands that do not appear on any map. There time does not count years, and the body knows nothing of age. The best-known tale speaks of Uiscin, son of Fionn MacCooill of the Fianna. According to legend, Niamh of the golden hair came for him, daughter of the ruler of Tir na Nug. She arrived upon a white horse whose hooves did not touch the ground. Uiscin mounted behind her and rode west, towards a place where days had no end, and faces knew no wrinkles. He spent 3 years there, so he believed, yet 3 years in the land of youth were 300 years in the world of men. When he longed for Ireland and begged to see his native hills once more, Niamh agreed, but warned him. On no account was he to touch the earth. If he did, the time that had waited for him through 3 centuries would claim its due. Uiscin returned, yet the Ireland he remembered had vanished. His companions of the Fianna were long gone, and the hills he knew bore other names. Nothing he carried in memory existed in quite the same form. Once, as he bent to help men lift a stone, the strap of his saddle snapped and he fell from the horse. The moment his hand touched the ground, time took what it was owed. Before the witnesses' eyes, his body aged. From a young man, he became a feeble old one. So the tales have been told for generations. They speak of longing, of time, and of return. Yet they seldom speak of those who did not return. They do not ask whether every soul who stood at the border of Tir na Nug wished to leave a place where the heart knows no fear and the past holds no power. For in the old beliefs, the other world was neither reward nor punishment. It was a choice. In the year 1852, the western reaches of Donegal were a land that had not forgotten. The Derryvee Mountains rose above the bogs like stern sentries, and the heather moors rolled under a wind that never truly fell silent. Beyond lay only the Atlantic, heavy and boundless, as though the world ended not at the line of shore, but at a breath. Cuivan Macohi returned at the end of summer. He brought no hope with him and no plans. He brought only his own name, one no one spoke any longer. The path to the family hill was the same as he remembered, stony, narrow, cut by low walls of field stones. And yet each step felt strange, as though the ground did not recognize his weight. The house still stood. The roof had sunk on one side, and the door hung on a single hinge. The garden had thickened with wild grass. The well was covered with a plank no one had lifted in years. He stopped a few paces from the threshold. He did not need to ask anyone to know what had happened. He needed no story to understand that when they came for the rent, there was no one left to pay. He did not move away from the doorstep. He stood as though waiting for someone to stop him. And when no one spoke his name, he raised his hand and pushed. The door creaked as if in protest, but gave way. Inside it smelt of damp and dust. The roof sagged in one place, where a strip of sky showed through. The earthen floor lay unevenly, strewn with splinters of wood and stone. The hearth stood empty, black as an open mouth that had long since ceased to speak. He walked slowly through the room. Here had stood the table, here the bench where his younger brother slept. Here his mother set down bread before it became a rarity. He touched the wall as though to see whether the stone still knew him. It was no longer his home, yet it was the only place he remembered as his own. Dusk crept in through the tear in the roof and the air turned cold. Cuiven gathered a few dry boards that had survived beside the wall and laid them in the hearth. The fire caught reluctantly, then at last yielded to the spark. The flame threw shadows upon the walls. The shadows looked like people. He sat by the fire, his back against the stone, and for the first time since his return, he let his thoughts speak louder than the wind. He had not left for money. He had not left for dreams of America. He had fled years ago on that night. There was no wind then, only a silence heavy as stone. That spring in the valley, they said an agent of the landlord would come, that new records had been drawn up, that those behind on rent would be put out. But this time it was no longer only about rent. Someone had given names, the names of those who refused to take part in tearing down neighbors' homes, the names of those who would not point to whoever hid in the mountains, the names of those who said no when they were told to sign their pledges. Refusal was to cease being mere refusal. It was to become an example. His name was on the list not because he was the bravest, nor because he led anyone. It was there because he did not say yes. He remembered his father's face when he said he would not stay. He remembered his mother's hand, which did not try to hold him back. He remembered his younger brother at the threshold, not understanding why they must leave in the night. He did not know then that time can be longer than a life. He had not meant to take his brother with him, yet he could not leave him behind that night. In the harbor they said there was work across the ocean, that the land was wide and no one asked after names. No one said that hunger can cross an ocean faster than a man. In America, they learned to be silent in a different way. They learned to work without asking about tomorrow. They learned that an Irishman is and will remain an outsider. His brother grew faster than he should. Children in poverty always grow too quickly. And yet, when Cuiven decided to return, he did not take him with him. Not because he did not want to, but because someone had to remain in a world which, though hard, was at least real. When the ship sailed, he did not look back. He told himself he would return when all had quieted, when the names vanished from the lists, when anger passed. He returned now, and there was no one left to accuse him, and no one left to forgive him. The fire crackled softly in the ruin of the old house. Night fell faster than it did upon the hills. He closed his eyes, but sleep did not come at once. First came back the weight of the question he had carried for years. If I had stayed, would anything have changed? The fire sank slowly. The stone gave off its chill, yet weariness was stronger than discomfort. He rested his head against the wall and fell asleep before the night could deepen. He did not dream, and if he did not remember. He woke to light spilling through the breach in the roof and emptiness in his belly. Hunger was plain, honest. It asked nothing of the past. The ruin was cold. The fire had died to ash. He rose slowly and fastened at his belt the knife he had carried for years. Short, nicked at the hilt, not a fighting knife. A knife for bread, for work, for living. He stepped out into the morning air. If he were to stay here even a few days, he must find something to eat. In the mountains there was always something, a hare, berries, a fish in the stream. The heather shone with dew. The wind fell quiet for a moment. The air was clean after the night's chill, and the sky brightened slowly above the Derryvee hill. He walked without haste, stooping now and then to low bushes to see whether anything edible lay beneath. Hunger led him higher, towards bare rock where the earth was thinner and the wind stronger. Then he saw it. At the border of granite and heather stood a stag. It did not move when he stopped. It did not flinch when the wind stirred the grass. Its coat was pale, almost white in the morning light. Its antlers spread wide, and their tips seemed to catch the light, as though there were something in them beyond the common shine of the sun. He did not reach for the knife. Something trembled within him, not fear, not wonder, not even surprise. It was a feeling he remembered from childhood. The moment of silence before the first sound of the bell, a suspension that cannot quite be named. The stag watched him for a long time, too long for an animal, then slowly turned its head and began to climb. It did not run. It moved quietly, almost with a kind of majesty. He stood there a moment longer. He could have turned back. He could have gone down towards the streams and the valleys, where hunger might be answered by something smaller. Instead, he followed. The animal did not quicken its pace. It led him along a path he did not remember, though he had known these slopes since boyhood. Heather gave way to bare stone, then returned again. The granite beneath his feet was dry, yet the air began to thicken, as though dampness were gathering in the hollows. They went higher. The slopes of Donegal lay behind him now. Ahead rose a range he knew only from afar. He had never climbed so high before. There had been no reason. Not until now. The stag crested a ridge and vanished from sight for a moment. He quickened his pace, seized by a sudden tension he could not explain. He did not want to lose it. Not because it was a beast, but because it had become the only point that felt certain. When he reached the top, he stopped. On the far side stretched a valley he did not know. It was neither wide nor particularly deep, yet he could not recall its existence. Donegal did not hide valleys from him. He had walked these hills as a boy, as a young man. He knew where every stream ran. And yet this place was strange, as though it had slipped between the hills in the night. The grass was greener here, the stones were paler, even the air felt different. Silence struck him first. There was no wind, no birds, not even the rustle of heather, only still air, as though the world itself had drawn a breath and forgotten to release it. Then the mist began to rise from the valley floor. Thick and silvery, it lifted slowly and softly, like steam above warm water. It wrapped the stones and grasses, not hiding them entirely, but blurring their edges. The stag stood below already, watching. It seemed neither nearer nor farther, as though distance itself had lost its meaning. He felt the same tremor as before. There was no fear in it, and no courage either, only a scent. He took a step. The grass beneath his feet was soft and springing, as though no one had walked upon it before. The mist did not chill his skin. It was not wet. It wrapped around him instead like breath. The stag moved on, and its shape began to dissolve into the brightness of the valley. He took another step, and then he heard his name. Cuivin. Not a shout, but a whisper, spoken as one speaks something long familiar, without question, without surprise. He stopped. His heart struck harder, not from fear, but from recognition. He had not heard his name in that form for years. In America, it had sounded harsher, shortened, bent out of shape. Here it sounded as his mother had once spoken it. Cuivin. The mist drifted gently between the stones. He saw no one, no figure, no shadow, only a sensed presence, and the strange feeling that no one had been waiting for his coming, and yet someone had known he would arrive. He did not step back. He did not ask who had spoken. He took the next step. The mist lifted higher, revealing a part of the valley that had been hidden. Where the stag had stood a moment before, there was no animal now. There was a path. The valley was green, not garish, not unnatural, simply green in the way one remembers from childhood. The heart of summer, when the grass is soft, the sun does not burn the skin, and the air is warm without ever becoming heavy. Not the slightest breath of wind stirred. Donegal without wind did not exist, yet here the grass did not move so much as a finger's width. In the depths of the valley a lake lay smooth as glass. Birds sang but quietly, as though unwilling to disturb the balance. He took a few steps. The ground sprang beneath him. He felt it underfoot, yet it did not weigh him down. There was no peat to drag at the boot, no stones to cut. And then he saw that he was not alone. A few paces ahead stood a young man. He had not emerged from the mist. He had not appeared suddenly. It was as though he had been there from the beginning. A linen shirt, dark trousers, bare feet, a calm face without age. He might have been 20 or 100. "You have found it," he said. His voice was quiet, clear, without accent and without haste. "This is not Donegal?" Cuivin asked. The young man tilted his head slightly. "It is what you were seeking." There was no persuasion in it, only fact. "Who are you?" "Not the one who awaits you. I am only a guide." He turned and walked towards the lake without checking whether Cuivin followed. The lake that from above had seemed small held, up close, an unexpected depth. The water was clear, yet it did not reflect the sky as it should. It reflected light. There were no waves, no reeds, only a smooth surface and brightness. "This place is not for everyone," said the guide without turning. "I was not looking for it," Cuivin replied. "You were looking for silence." There was no question in it. The guide stopped beside a low ring of stone. The stones looked old yet unbroken, as though time itself had no hold on them. He looked at Cuivin with the calm of one who passes a traveller onward. "She is waiting." He stepped back towards the lake and gradually merged with the valley, as though he had always belonged to it. Cuivin was left alone. The path ran along the shore. In the distance by the water stood a woman. The water reflected the light cleanly and deeply, as though it bore no mark of passing years. The hills that rose around were covered in grass, so thick that the very earth seemed young. He knew then that this was no valley of Donegal. The air carried a certain permanence. Each breath was even and full. Day rested at the height of summer, and yet it did not weary. The green was deep, the light clear, the water still. Everything existed in its best form. In the old tales, this was how they spoke of Tir Nanug, the land that knows no age, one of the realms of the other world, where those whom people once called gods dwelt, where Mananan Maclir, lord of the seas and guardian of the crossings between worlds, kept the order of things. No walls set it apart. Time did. The woman stood by the water. Her dress was light and plain as though woven from summer brightness. Her hair fell freely to her shoulders, and the sun drew a warm gleam from it. She stood upright, calm, like one who had long known her place. In her gaze there was a deep, unmoving awareness. "Cuivin McCohey," she said. She spoke his name in full, with a softness he had not heard in years. "You know this place. You have heard of it, though you did not expect to stand here." He said nothing. "This is Tir Nanug," she went on calmly, "one of the lands my father rules. Mananon Maclir, and I am Neve of the golden hair." Her name sounded like something remembered long ago. "Tir Nanug," he repeated softly, as though trying to make the word his own. He looked at the lake, the hills, the light poured over the grass. "It is impossible." There was no anger in his voice, only weariness. "By what means? And why?" Neve stepped closer to the shore. The water at her feet stirred gently as though answering her presence. "The roads between worlds have always existed," she said. "Not everyone sees them. and not everyone walks them. I was not seeking a road, I was seeking food. You were seeking silence. He lifted his head. If this place is what you say it is, why me? She looked at him closely. Those who stand firm in their own world do not see the crossing. Those who have nowhere left to stand see it clearly. The light above the valley did not shift. This is my Father's realm, she added. Man anon guards the borders. I guard those who pass through them. There was no pride in her words, only responsibility. He listened to his own breathing. You speak of crossings as though they were ordinary things. Anyone may find them, she answered. Few can pass through. She walked along the edge of the lake. Her steps were light and natural, as though this ground had always known her weight. He walked beside her. Up close, the valley seemed fuller still. The grass held a deep hue, and the light remained unchanged. Day rested at its most perfect point. In the distance were other hills, and between them houses, not of stone like those in Donegal, but of pale wood, set among orchards. Thin threads of smoke rose from their chimneys. Is this also Tir na Nug? He asked. One part of it. The land has more than one face. She stopped beside a low tree bent beneath the weight of fruit. She plucked one and offered it. He took it without hesitation. Hunger spoke at once. The flesh was sweet and fresh, tasting of a summer that does not end. This place, he faltered. One does not feel the weight of life here. The weight belongs to time. They sat on a stone by the water. For a moment there was only bird song, and far off a soft splash, as though someone had waded through the shallows. Tell me, she said. Cuiven looked at his hands marked by years of labor. I ran. He repeated it more quietly. In America, it was easy to believe that everything could still be mended, that I would return when it was safe, that I would find them as always by the fire. He swallowed. Sometimes I think of my father, not of words, but of the moment they came. Heavy boots on, the stone floor, a voice reading a name, a glance towards the door as though he still expected me to return. He fell silent. They took him. His breath grew shallow. I know it, though no one told me. They took him because I was not there. He looked away for a moment. And my mother! I see her standing before the house saying it is only for a while, that her son will return. And then they come for the land, for the house, for everything. His jaw tightened. I fled like a coward. He looked at Neve. I lived, I ate, I worked. Each day was proof that I endured. And they did not. The valley's silence received the words without echo. Neve did not answer at once. A slight movement passed across the surface of the lake. The light seemed to deepen. "Look," she said. The water by the shore brightened. He saw the valley he knew, stony, harsh, wind-scoured. He saw his father standing before. The house, a tired face but a straight posture. Around him stood men in uniform. One read from a paper. His father listened without protest. In his eyes was stubbornness. The image shifted. The room was bare, yet the fire still smoldered in the hearth. His mother sat at the table, thin yet calm. He did not see despair. He saw dignity. Her hands were clasped as though praying without words. The water stirred again. His father, led by soldiers, turned his head as though he knew. Someone was watching. There was no accusation in him. The image faded. Cuiven breathed hard. "That is what was," said Neve, "not what you carry inside you. Your father knew the consequences. He accepted them knowingly, just as you chose to leave. This is not absolution. It is balance." She looked at him closely. Flight may be fear. It may also be the instinct to survive. Both belong to man. Her voice was quiet. The fact that you lived is not betrayal. The words settled in him slowly. For a long while, he stared at the place where the water had moved. Hands that had been clenched only moments before loosened without his noticing, as though something held tight, for years had finally yielded. Was it only I? He began softly. He did not finish. Neve nodded towards the hills beyond the lake. "This place receives those who have passed through too much silence," she said, "those the world has ceased to hear." He looked where she indicated. On the slope he saw several figures, men and women. It was no crowd. They spoke softly, worked among the orchard trees. Someone carried a bundle of wood, someone else a basket of fruit. Their movements were calm and sure, as though each gesture had its proper pace. He watched them for a time. "How long have they lived here?" he asked at last. She began to walk towards the trees, and he went with her. "Length means nothing here," she replied. "Time in this land is not measured in years. In your world it wears the body, brings wrinkles, weakness, and end. Here it holds to a single point." He looked at his hands. The marks of work were still there, yet the ache he usually felt in his joints had dispersed somewhere. "So, no one grows old here. Each remains in the moment in which they cross the border," she answered calmly. "In the fullest moment of their life, not the youngest, the truest." He raised his eyes. "And if someone crossed in fear, fear is also part of man. What is true remains, the rest falls away like a heavy cloak. They were silent for a moment. In your world, it is often only after being broken that a person comes into their fullness, she added, when they cease to pretend. Those words sank deeper than he expected. He was no longer the boy on the threshold, nor the youth fleeing into the night. He was a man who knew the weight of a decision, and for the first time in years, that was enough. He looked at the lake. Its surface reflected his face, the lines by his eyes, the gray at his temples. What does a man become when time no longer confines him? He asked softly. Neve stepped closer. He remains himself in the fullness of life, she replied, without the marks of exhaustion, without the weight of years. She dipped her hands into the water and offered it to him. This is the water of this land. It does not take away the past. It lifts its weight. He hesitated for a brief moment, then pressed his lips to her palm. The water was cool and pure, tasting of a spring untouched by stone. At first he felt nothing. Then the tension in his neck released, his back straightened without effort, and his breath deepened. He looked again into the lake. The gray at his temples dimmed, the lines smoothed. The face was the same, mature, strong, but free of the weariness he had carried for years. Does it work only here? He asked. She nodded. Tir Nanug exists beyond your time. Whoever remains accepts its order. He was silent for a moment. And if someone wished to leave? Above the valley the sun hung unchanged. In your world, time does not cease to run, she replied. It flows on even now, while you have stepped aside from it. There was no threat in her voice. You know the tale of Ushin, she added. He returned from longing and touched the earth that had outlived him by 3 centuries. He fell into thought. The border works both ways, she said more quietly. If you choose to stay, your body will accept this order. If you return later, time will claim everything at once. She did not need to say more. In the distance, people worked in the orchard. A quiet laughter drifted above the grass. In your world, consequences await you, those you know, she added. Memory, law, solitude. There was no judgment in her voice. Here, silence awaits you. Silence that does not wound. He looked towards the hills of Donegal. Though he could not see them, he felt them somewhere beyond the border. The ruins of the house, the empty field, names written on lists. Then he looked back at the valley, at the light that did not fade, at the water that reflected peace, at the people living without haste. If I stay, he asked, will I remember? Yes, memory will remain, but it will no longer be your judge. He closed his eyes. In his mind he saw the threshold. his father's face, his mother's hands, his younger brother at the ship's rail. He did not try to change the past. He opened his eyes. "I choose peace," he said. The words were quiet, but without hesitation. Niamh watched him closely. "Then drink once more." He dipped his hands into the water. This time the change ran deeper. The weight of years fell away like an old cloak. His hair regained its earlier color, his skin smoothed, yet his gaze remained mature. He did not become a youth. He became himself, free of exhaustion and of guilt. The valley received him without words. At its edge, the mist began to thicken, rising softly where he had come in. The passage closed slowly, like a curtain that need not be drawn back again. He looked that way, yet he saw no Donegal. He saw no ruined house, no empty threshold. The past remained within him, but without pain. He turned towards the valley. The old tales speak of Ushin, who returned and paid the price of time. More rarely do they speak of those who stayed. In Tir Nanug, where day knows no dusk, there are those who chose peace over haste, memory without judgment, and life without pain. Among them is Cuivan Macohi, and the day in the land of everlasting youth endures.